Welcome. Welcome to another show of OptionPundit Market Wizards. And today I have Yao Wen joining from Singapore. Yao Wen has been an amazing trader who not only just focus only the options, but he has been trading options as well as stock and have the right mix in the portfolio. It's been an amazing journey and we'll talk more about that. But I just wanted to welcome Yao Wen to our show as celebration of his achieving market wizard. So welcome Yao Wen. Could you share a little bit about yourself to the
Yeah.
audience?
Hi, morning, Manoj. Thanks for the kind introduction. Yeah, it's been an amazing journey. I joined the OPIC circle back on, I still remember 19th of May this year. So,
19th May
and
2022.
22. Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And since then, it's been an amazing journey. Thanks for your guidance and constant pushing. So I've been able to get some success financially in the past 7 months. I've just crossed my six-figure profits in the 7th month. So I'm now quite happy with the results so far.
Fantastic. So let's talk a little bit about specifics. So when you say
Mm,
six figures,
mm.
what that number is precisely from a profitability perspective.
Yeah, I've just crossed the 100,000 mark in terms of profits generated solely using all the strategies that we have learned during the OPIC and the OP sharing. Yeah.
So that's like from May,
May
about May,
seven
June,
months.
7 months roughly.
Yes,
Well,
yes.
congratulations.
Thanks.
Fantastic. As we're going through Yao, and this has been a pretty tough year for the
Mm.
market perspective, since starting from Jan itself. I still remember we had this
Yeah.
conversation and I mentioned what got us here will not take us there and the leaders will change. I
Yes.
also remember we had this statistics which I shared at that point of time, which is the tech stock may not be the rising star in the rising rates environment.
Mm.
And boy, it's been like what a ride if you think about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how are you managing through this period? Like
Yeah.
what worked for you and what didn't work? How did you find this success?
Yeah. Okay. I think what you just mentioned resonates because it was exactly that call that I think you shared it freely.
Yes,
Why
that was a
yeah in
free
sharing,
I think
right?
YouTube live streaming session or
Correct.
was yeah, correct.
Yeah, I watched that. That was before I joined the OPIC. And you mentioned why does the market or growth stocks drop so much? And there's two reasons: inflation and interest rates. And you asked that question point blank. Do you know 1% increase in inflation and interest rate? How much it brings the stocks valuation down? So I don't think a lot of people got that right. To be honest, or even think about that. So yeah, that got me really thinking. Yeah, I was thinking I held on to as usual from since COVID days. The last 2 years was great for growth stocks. So yeah, I made some good money just investing on what we call borrowed conviction.
Borrowed conviction, yeah.
What
Yeah.
a lot of YouTubers have been sharing, your usual suspects of all the growth stocks. I should not mention specifics. And they were dropping like crazy since the beginning of the year. And got me really wondering why.
Yeah.
And yeah, your deep dive into that got me very interested. And since then, I've been following you, and I made the decision to join the OPIC to just be very close to the inner circle of traders, fantastic traders, and get more insights from you.
Yeah, that was a thought-provoking exercise, even for me as a coach. Knowing when I run that survey and I ask the students, how many, and the general community itself, how many people knew about this. To my surprise, majority of the people never even thought about it, that inflation is going to affect the stock prices
Yes.
and how interest rates, how cost of capital, and how the discounted cash flow at the end is going to affect every single thing from a
Mm-hmm.
stock's valuations perspective. I'm glad you listened to that. It was shared, it was aired freely, shared freely, and
Absolutely.
this was really awesome.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
tell us a little bit, Yawin, what got you started into options and investment?
Oh, okay. I think the journey goes back quite a number of years, 2017, if I recall correctly. That time you were still giving free previews at Novotel Hotel. I really still
Yeah,
remember.
yeah.
It's since
In
been torn
Singapore,
down.
yes. Yeah.
Yes, it was a turnout crowd face to face, and I was absolutely impressed. I went for the preview. It was mind blowing. I never thought, from another perspective. I heard about options, but initially, being a Singaporean as skeptic, cynical, I was okay, let's go with an open mind and see what this guy is trying to sell again.
Yeah.
So since it's free. And since then, I think the first thing that really resonates with me is your generosity in sharing very specific strategies, actionable strategies for even beginners, and they turn out to be profitable. That's one. I think the other thing that really moved me is that your generosity in sharing, giving back, gifting, and I still remember that you urge anyone that takes your strategy, make some money to give to any charitable organization, and you yourself led by example by gifting to World Vision. Yeah, so that really got me going. Although I
I
didn't.
mean, I think this is absolutely worth mentioning, especially even in the inner circle as well. Once a trader generates about $50,000 profit, I ask them to go and sponsor a kid's education.
Mm,
It's been really remarkable to see you, Yao Wen. I would like to, let my audience and my viewers know Yao Wen is supporting 5 kids now, right? If I'm
yes,
correct.
yes, yeah.
5 kids lifetime education. Yao Wen is supporting that through World Vision. It's a nature's way of giving it back. We found that when you allocate your profits to a cause as well, then your profit tends to increase because you're not really driven by just the profit, you're driven by your desire to do much more for the people around us. So
Yes.
congratulations for doing
Thank
that,
you.
Yao Wen, as well. I'm much more proud of you on that as opposed to rather the $100,000 profit that you have
Thanks.
generated. So share a little bit about with the traders who are watching from your journey point of view, what sort of biggest mistake, maybe there will be many, but if you were to go back and look at it, what
Mm,
are the few mistakes that you would like to share with the viewers who are
mm.
new or still trying to find consistency can learn from your experience?
Okay. I think one big mistake is investing on borrowed conviction. I think YouTube, social media has made it so easy for a lot of people to start sharing stuff that work for them. Yeah, I'm not saying that it is wrong. It doesn't work. It definitely work for them. That's why they're sharing. But whether it works for you is another issue. It's totally different ballgame. So, and that is where we are back on this term of borrowed conviction.
Yeah,
If you are on borrowed conviction, you are actually playing with fire. And I myself am guilty of that. So my biggest mistake so far has been like I invested in C Limited, knowing that the company is burning cash quarter to quarter, but uh, we investing with hope and a lot of hype during the COVID days. Um, so I've seen cut loss on that.
yeah,
I followed the value investing teachings in the OPIC and the OP circle, redo my valuation, and I found that it just doesn't work. I don't have
yeah.
that conviction to hold on to it anymore. I was just bluffing myself. So that's
And
that's
I'm
that really.
I'm so glad I remember that conversation. Not just the C Limited, but in fact, Tesla was another one. We'll come to
Yes.
that later.
Yeah, we come to it.
I don't want to interrupt, but yeah,
Yeah,
please go ahead. So the borrowed conviction
the
should
borrow
not be
conviction.
there. Yeah,
Yeah. And secondly, I think you really there's a dime and dozen. You always mention there's of strategies out there. You have people selling wheel and wheeling wheel strategy where you sell put and then sell call and everything is nice. But I believe that that it's just like the four seasons. Is there's time for every strategy. You can't hope that a single strategy will be able to pull you through every season. Just like in winter, you can't wear spring clothes, right? And you freeze to death. Just like what we are going through now, bear
yeah,
markets. If you continue to use the same strategy, selling puts in a downturn, unless you have high conviction of a certain stocks that you don't mind holding. Every time you sell put, you'll be assigned 100 shares at this X price.
yeah,
And if you see it half by from that exercise price, will you be able to take it? So yeah, that is something that I I've been reflecting, and I used sell puts in the past. So yeah,
yeah.
it may not be something that works. And I recall that you had an open sharing about why selling puts doesn't work.
Right, right.
Yeah, and that really is an eye opener. So general sharing on that selling put strategy and the pitfalls.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's
What
my
what
point.
other what other things that you found
Uh,
that probably new or inconsistent traders should avoid?
yeah. Yeah, avoid watching too much of YouTube influencers. Yeah, really, I think invest. I think if you are really serious in managing your money, nobody cares more about your money. People can share freely in forums. So get yourself in a good community. Get yourself a good coach.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is a bit like just if you start running, you want to run well, you get a pair of good shoes, right?
yeah,
Yeah, and yeah, so stop trying to DIY, um, and try to learn things for free. Yeah,
yeah.
invest in a good
So
pair of shoes.
which is kind of true, you know. It's like if you want to learn swimming, you just don't go and jump into the
Exactly.
sea and say, okay, I will learn swimming.
Yes.
Of course, people have to follow through the process of doing it. I
Mm,
think there was one more learning that we found during our private coachings,
mm,
if I could talk
yep.
about that, and that was the importance of money allocation. When we
Absolutely.
looked at it, typically the new traders tend to make that mistake. Um, Strategies, trading plans, and etc. all can be worked out.
Mm,
But
mm,
if you don't pay attention to your capital allocation, then even one losing trade can actually wipe out your account.
yes.
So that is something I wanted to accentuate actually, and I wanted to highlight. In addition to the three additional mistakes, which are like top line, really, really key mistakes
Mm,
that
mm,
you may want to avoid, which is borrowed conviction, and you may want to have not just one strategy, but
multiple.
strategies for different seasons, and also learn to earn well. Do that
Mm,
in a systemic process.
yeah, yeah.
So, thank you for sharing. Anything else that you want to add for the mistakes to
You know,
avoid?
on your last point, maybe it's just nice to that I bring in my Tesla saga.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
sure.
I think yeah, it's exactly to that point about allocation. So if we watch YouTube, we have a lot of Tesla bulls every day. People sharing about Tesla, the community fans club. So all one consistent thing that I noticed is that they have outsized allocation to Tesla. Some of them as much as 70-80% of their capital allocated to just one single stock. And I made that mistake as well. So I had more than 50% allocation of my capital in Tesla. Again, on some fuzzy valuation analysis and also borrowed conviction.
Yeah.
Since then, we had that sobering coaching call. You really challenged me to do
I think
the
that was within first month of
yes,
your
absolutely.
joining. Yeah,
Yes, absolutely.
yeah,
You asked me very good questions about that got me thinking about my allocation. And since then, I'm so glad that I hedged my Tesla position with a buy put. It got exercised at very good price, probably double of what I still remember. I think I bought a put at about $280 post split.
this is pre-split.
Uh,
This is
yeah,
pre-split, 280.
pre-split
Yeah,
level, yeah, was
yeah,
and then post-split level is about 280 bucks.
yeah,
So it got called away. The bulk of my position got called away. So and that reduces my allocation to Tesla significantly, and I'm so glad that thanks
yeah.
much for that.
Oh, you're most welcome. You're most welcome. That would have been otherwise a six-figure loss. I still
Ye-
remember the
yes,
kind of holding you had, and it wasn't just to challenge actually your allocation, but it was to educate through the process. So
yes,
you looked into it as a fund manager, so as to speak, of your own capital.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
but thank you, and thank you for taking action as well. A lot of people learn, but they don't do anything about it. And you
Mm.
took action, you followed through it. You knew the coach is going to ask me again, what did
Yes,
I do, and did I do my homework? So that was fantastic. And now at around already 150, if I'm not wrong,
150. Yeah.
it's coming very close to our buy
Our target
price. Yeah,
140, right?
exactly. It's coming very close to our buying price. So, thank you for sharing that. I think that brings a very good perspective in terms of the mistakes to avoid, or rather, build your systems and education system very, very well.
Mm,
Um, so, if you go deeper and try to find out what were the strategies that you deployed or you used that produced the most profit. So if you look at the top three strategy that gave you most
Mm,
profit,
mm, mm.
what were those and how do you usually go about them?
Okay, I think firstly, for all beginners, from a beginner's perspective, I think you also covered this extensively during your boot camp, free boot camp. That was another big, plus for you. Absolute free sharing for 4 days and so much value. So I still remember every time you do the boot camp, you will ask, you will review the portfolio of one of the students or
Yeah,
listeners, and then it's a very low hanging fruit. Look at their portfolio and start seeing how can I generate monthly income from the existing portfolio, even without whether you have bought the stocks correctly or what. That's another story.
yeah,
Just start generating a few $100s to thousands of dollars from there by simply selling calls on your existing positions 1 month, and you can start taking money off the table. Yeah, so that is one of the strategies that when I first started with you, I really look at my Tesla holdings, my C limited, and start selling calls immediately on them to generate some money
yeah.
from it. And I think with that, it gives you confidence to start. Oh, I'm actually getting a few $100s every month. So don't be greedy.
Yeah.
We all hope overnight success, but I think we have to start somewhere and start to build the confidence that this does work
Yeah.
in a proper way. So I would first advocate reviewing positions and start selling calls to get
Okay.
some income.
So it is also known as writing covered calls, also known as
Yes.
creating your own dividends. So there are many names, but at the
Yep.
end of the day, one of the strategy that you followed
Mm,
was selling covered calls
yeah.
on existing stocks. What
Yes.
else worked very well for
Yeah.
you, Yawen?
I think it's from there. Okay, after I get some confidence, I start to again look at intraday strategies. You have a dime and dozen of intraday strategies. One of your
Yeah,
favorite is the what we call the PP33, which is a very simple strategy that we have certain indicators, buy above the green line, sell below the red line, which I believe you shared during your boot camps as well. So it's a simple to follow strategy, but it actually works time and again for me and a lot of the traders in the circle. So yeah,
so
so
just to correct that, it was not taught in the boot camp. It's a
oh,
strategy which is being shared in Profit Path Intensive or Option Success Formula, or it's in a program
mm,
because a proper context needs to be done and
oh,
it
okay,
needs to be learned properly.
okay,
But you've been trading it for quite some time, so you might have forgotten
oh,
where
okay,
exactly did you learn
yes, yes,
on that option. So the intraday trading strategy worked very well for you. Can you share a little bit more about how do you increase your accuracy, why you switched to or why you are using it, and what advantage you found in that? Because I'm
yeah,
sure many of the viewers are from our class
mm, mm,
or from the OPIC as well, who must be listening and tuning in. You know how you
yeah.
found PP33 to be so profitable for you.
Yep. Okay. So what happens is that from the PP33, okay, we are always in this constant mode of okay, how do I stack more probability in my favor? A strategy can work, and then but sometimes it has higher risk. So how do we are in that constant mode since I joined OPIC? How do I reduce risk and
Yeah.
increase my return, stack probability in my favor? So that is the mindset that we always have. So we add on. Yeah, I still remember we add on pivot levels. So
Yeah.
if the PP33 red or green line coincides with the pivot levels, it gives us more confidence and more probability in terms of whether it will continue to swing upwards or downwards. So
Yeah.
that's I personally look at candle formations as well. So yeah, so that's my only own. I combine candles with pivots and the PP33 red and green line to increase my probability of success.
So
And
once again, for those viewers who are watching it, I want to highlight it here. It's not just the strategy. It is about increasing your probability through that strategy so you can consistently produce profit. Because as earlier he mentioned that it's not one strategy that will work in all the seasons. So you need to find how to make that strategy work in that particular season, what kind of things that you should add or move. But at the end of the day, still those three things are
yes,
what he mentioned are doable. And if you happen to be an OSF or PPI graduate or from other Option Pundit programs and you've gone through options, it's just simply having PP33 and applying pivot points and then making sure that you get in when you get some signals in your favor right after hitting those points.
Yes.
What else has worked well for you, Yao Wen?
Okay. I still remember. I think from the low of SPX at about 3006, we correctly predicted that there should be a reversal. Yeah, thanks to your guidance as well. So there, of course, without giving too much, that we look at a couple of other indicators like VIX, etc., to tell us whether the market is peaking or bottoming. So from 2006, I think what really worked for me in the initial few months was really we started selling put options. There are some certain strategies like the chemical curl and selling options as the market was. Those are data positive, what we call data positive, and income trades. So fairly quickly as the market was turning around from 3006, we book our profits whenever it hits 70-80% of our credit within a short period of times, like sometimes even as quickly as the next day. As the market rally. So that has given me some good profits in the initial as the market continue to rally, whether you call it a bear market rally or whatever, we don't care, right?
We don't care. Bull or bear, we don't care. That's correct.
We don't care.
That's correct.
So
essentially, camel curl, and then we modified camel curl as well, which was M30Y, which is really in our inner circle group. And the idea here there was that we developed a system for those who are watching it and would like to know what that is all about. So we developed a system of selling puts with a proper hedge in place though. And we did this under certain circumstances, of course. So the strategy is again simple, which is selling puts and then having some hedges in place. But the timing and the system and the location was really, really good. And I think we were generating close to 0.6 to 0.7% every week. And on the entire portfolio actually allocated for that, which generates a good return. So once again, a key takeaway here is that strategies are dime a dozen. So it's not the strategy which makes you money, but it is the structure of the strategy and structure of your trades that actually leads and make you money. So I've taken so far on the covered calls that you talked about. The second that you also talked about was intraday trading strategies, such as PP33 that has worked very well for you as well. And the third is around selling puts, but with a modified system, which we call camel curl, that has also been working very well for you as well. What else has worked for you, Yao Wen? As this has been very difficult year, but at the same time, you generated really outsized gain. So share a little bit more.
I think if for viewers who zoom into your free lunchtime calls, I still remember back on 17 or 18 of August, you correctly predicted the market top at, I still remember as I flipped through my notes, it's I think about 4,300. And you were so specific at 4,300. There's going to be a turn down, according to some of your key indicators, and true enough. Again, I took the call. I started selling, selling the market from 4,003, and it again went back all the way to 3,006. So I was shorting the ES futures massively from that point, and every 1 point move gives us $50
per contract.
From 4,003 to 3,006, you can easily calculate how much alone your free lunchtime call has generated. If somebody is to take the that's really very generous, I would say.
And just for the viewers and listeners who are tuning in, those were free calls. Those are not like something that you have to join OptionPundit programs and so on to go through it. So what I'm actually enjoying during this conversation, and I want to highlight with everyone, is that the success is not just achieved by knowing things. You may know hundreds of strategy, but that's not the point. Point is, do you actually do something with what you know about? How do you connect the dots? How do you make use of the things that you know, build your plans, build your trades, and be confident to go in. And in fact, our free calls allow for
Yes.
live Q&A too. It's not
Yes.
just the one-way traffic. Those were and on I remember that August 16, 17 period. That was a call that I organized, and in fact, I told everybody in the community, "There's going to be a free call. You may want to join
Mm.
in." And my intention there was to really save you from financial disasters.
Yes.
You know, if I could
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
So that was the fourth one, that you timed and you took action based upon those
Yes.
market turning points. That also helped. I remember you also started to look at in value investing as
Yes.
part of your selling put strategies, right?
Yes.
So can you share a little bit about that too?
Yeah.
How do you
I
look
think
at selling puts on the stocks?
Yep. I think what we learn or you shared during the in OP value investing program is really very different. I've gone for a lot of value investing programs outside, but which ask you to look at this ratio, that ratio. But end of the day, I find that you don't own the numbers. So you just you skim through again and then listen to some YouTubers, bloggers, and on borrowed conviction. Uh, so the value investing here, you really challenge us a different way of looking at it. We really go back and download the balance sheet, income statement, and cash flow numbers from any free sources. In this case, we downloaded from Morningstar. It's a bit back, like back into my uni days, where we go line by line.
Yeah,
What are the indicators, or not indicators? For example, from the top line revenue, we then project, okay, this is how the company has been generating year on year revenue, and we project that out 10, 15 years for the company, and it's really projecting line by line your capex, your revenue, your margins. Yeah, it's hard work. I would say it's hard work. I spent hours reviewing the videos that you did. We had a wonderful analyst that shared with us last. He shared with us live on how he actually goes through and calculates those numbers. Yeah, it's just wonderful. So at the
so
end, yeah,
so in a way you are like really going back to school, and
school,
then you're doing all the numbers by yourself, so now you have conviction in your own analysis.
yes,
Okay,
yeah,
so once you do that, then what do you do?
yeah. Okay, then you start sharing. Of course, in the inner circle, we are privileged to share this with our other members, and you challenge us, put us in hot seat. Why is your eventual terminal value or fair value of, let's for example, Tesla, why is it $300?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and why
remember
is it
that.
not?
Yes.
Yeah, and then we went back to tweak some of the numbers. Yeah, are you too aggressive in your revenue growth numbers, etc.? So why do you think so? And I remember SK did another free sharing about his Tesla analysis, which was wonderful. I've
Yeah.
not seen anybody in other value investing class that do such in-depth analysis as SK, and it was so, yeah, again, shared freely with our members. I think
Yeah.
a lot of us benefited from that. So
So I mean, every people know what value investing is all about, and
yeah,
there are tons of programs. So I also don't want to take credit for the program that we have developed,
mm,
because you know these are standard skills. But it is about how, once again, are you going to apply that? How are
yes,
you building your assumptions list? How are you building your checklist?
yes,
And then you're figuring out uh, and having a deep conviction about the stocks and things that you would like to
yeah,
buy, right?
yeah,
And and then there were some quick back of the envelope strategies too. For example, on Procter and Gamble valuation,
yes,
and we
yes,
have these challenges, monthly challenges, where
yes,
so just for the viewers, it's fun way of learning it. We create challenges every month, or depending upon the modules or trainings as well. And these challenges are somewhere you have to take it, and you have to provide your inputs and your analysis. So it's not, okay, you know, Manoj, your coach has said that this
yes,
price is this much and so on. No, it's
yeah,
not like that.
yes, yeah,
And then we backed it up with our own real money.
yep,
Remember,
yep,
six figures investing in just Google alone, and then going on
mm, mm,
Microsoft and so on.
yep,
Fantastic sharing. So Whatever I picked up from the strategy point of view, those strategies were around intraday trading strategies, about selling put strategies, also about your market timing strategies that you followed. And a wide majority actually could have been resulted or could have been achieved even through the free sharings and sessions
Yes,
too.
absolutely.
And Tesla was a clear-cut example. When you guys came back with a 300 valuation, I said, "Come on, are you
Yes.
nuts or what?" Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
and was it true or not? At least we are very close to our valuations now that are
Yes.
coming in.
Yes. Yeah.
Any other strategy that worked very well for you, Yawen, you would like to highlight?
No, I think at the end of the day, you can share with us a lot of strategies until yeah, because you are such a market wizard, so nimble. Every day you share with one strategy, you we will take like 365 days to absorb everything. You got to find something. I personally like to keep it simple. Of course, I know you have a lot of more advanced strategies that can reduce. At the end of the day, we are always trying to reduce risk,
Yeah,
increase our returns and make money in a safe way. So that is the intention. But some of them are a bit more advanced, I would say, for some beginners to absorb. So just go with find something that you resonates, you can understand and keep practicing it, I would say. For example, for the PP33 is something simple. I posted in the OSF Facebook on my wins, and I do get comments. What other indicators do you look at? Do you look at MACD? Do you look at RSI, etc.? And I think back to Coach point is, yeah, trade the system. Keep it as simple. If you add in too many variables, I think you will end up in analysis paralysis, and you can't click the button. You can't fire it off. Yeah. So
So, what are the other different programs have you learned or have you attended, Yawen? Like even in Option Pundit as well. Doesn't matter. Just share some of the programs you have learned and how you
okay.
build up your education and skills portfolio.
Yeah. I think we always being conservative people, we want to spend, we don't know whether this will work for us, whether this course is really for us. So I started off back in Novotel. That time we call it PPI, right?
Yes,
Or yeah,
yes,
profit.
PPI, profit path intensive.
But I
Yeah,
still enjoy those days of the live face to face. But one key point, key downside about face to face is you talk about you can talk a lot about strategies, etc. And then it's one time. Then we got to try to recall. But now with technology and all the recordings, all your recordings, I personally rewatch so many of the modules at least 4 or 5 times.
yeah, four or
And
five times. Wow.
and yeah, every time I go back to rewatch it, I find something that, hey, oh, I missed this the last
Mm,
time. I just keep learning and finding new gems. So I encourage people, yeah, if you are not comfortable with spending more on education, which I don't think is a sensible thing. You really want to invest in yourself in a good
yeah,
education, and start small, even if it's a OSF, yeah, the lowest tier of yeah, you will learn a lot. You'll learn the true basics about options investing. And I don't think one thing that really sticks with me up till now is I don't think anybody has touched on Greeks, option Greeks as much as you. I still remember your sports car and your petrol. Yeah, that sticks with me
yeah,
forever. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, delta, gamma, and how all those affect. I don't think a lot of options educators even touch on that, which is, as we know after our OPIC sharing, how important all those
yeah,
uh, option grids are for different strategies.
yeah. Thank you.
And
Yeah, when you're married, you have three kids,
mm,
you work full time, and 2022 hasn't been a great year in general for the markets. How do you manage your time? Tell us a little bit about your trading day. How do you prepare yourself?
oh, okay.
How do you think about some strategies,
Mm,
and how do you act on it?
yeah. I think again, credit to you. You really got me into a habit and got all of us in the inner circle
Oh,
into
habit reminds me, we had a habit
habit.
tracker in.
Habit tracker, yes, and
Yes.
that really started me going. I'm so glad that we had that habit tracker, and you all thanks to you for pushing us to start that, because at the end of the day, it's really something that is it's a bit like muscle memory.
Yeah.
How you fight, you don't need to know. I think our virtual idol Bruce Lee, you don't need you don't scared but you're not afraid of the person who has 1,000 kicks or what, right? But you're afraid of that guy who has practiced one kick 1,000 times. So so it's yeah, the down to the habits, and you start off the day looking before you even trade. I still remember in one of the coaching call you told me, uh you really challenged me. How do you start the day when you started trading? I was put in a hot seat. I said, okay, I look at the market. I think PP33 is there. I just fire, and it was yeah, I must admit in the beginning I was not profitable. And I started reflecting, and you pointed me in the right direction. So yeah, I said, Yawen, did you do this? Did you check market, what we call market measurements?
Yeah.
You had a little sheet of paper that what are the pivot points, what are the high and lows, what are the moving averages. Yeah, you made us write that down before even starting the day.
Yeah.
And yeah, we check, are there key news, and you always share, are there key news data that's coming up, and you are just playing with fire if you go and do funny things on FOMC Fed meeting days or CPI days, right?
Yeah.
In the past, I don't notice those things. So
So this is the kind of habit that
habit,
you develop because of the market measurement sheet and the
yeah,
checklist that we provide, the
checklist,
9-step checklist of getting to the market and
yes,
getting ready. Yeah,
yeah,
awesome.
yes.
And then how do you allocate? What's your thought process behind allocation, money
Yeah,
allocation?
yeah. Allocation is very important. So my approach to this is that, okay, I encourage people to treat this as a business. Not It's definitely not a get rich quick kind of thing. There's a lot of hard work that goes behind. We may make it sound easy, sound yeah, profitable. uh, yeah, but I think there's a lot of, like, for example, I rewatch a lot of YouTube, it's not YouTube, but a lot of the videos in the library 5 times, at least 5 times. Some of the videos are as long as 1 hour. So I just keep learning. So what I wanted to say is that is yeah, a lot of hard work behind that you got to develop a system that works for you. Before you trade, you have your trade plan. What's your cut loss? What's your allocation?
Yeah, in
Yeah,
fact, those who are watching, I have to stress here at this point is that Yawen is someone who not just only learn, but he applies and he does the homework, he does the assignments, he takes it on, and in fact, I've used his case study as an example many times. So it's one of those things, like let's say if you forget the lock key and you call a locksmith, he comes in and you open the door and he says, "Give me $100 to open it." And you say, "What? It took just 1 minute to do this." And he says, "No, 1 minute was just to open, but 20 years to learn." So it's something similar here exactly. Even though he has made 6 figures and so on, but it's the tip of the iceberg that you're seeing. If I get some time, I'll probably record. I will
mm,
record a short video to show you on how much efforts he actually puts in to really learn and grow himself as
mm,
a investor.
yeah.
So I just
So
wanted to take that time and share, Yawen, about
yeah.
yours too. And while you're talking, I will search if I can find your homeworks and show on a
uh,
free
yeah.
as well, free part as well.
Happy to do that. So yeah, you start off with your trade plan, how much you want to allocate to a trade is, and you yeah, for me personally, I enter the trade with how much am I willing to lose on this trade, and it's a very hard stop loss. Once it's reached, look no further. Your first cut is always your best cut.
Yeah.
And you have to save yourself, and then come back and fight another time. So that is non-negotiable. I think a lot of traders I know, I may sound a bit cliche. They teach about just cut loss, and I get these questions time and again. How do you set your cut loss? So it's a very difficult question if Manoj agrees with me, because it's very individual. My risk tolerance is very different from another person's risk tolerance and appetite. So you got to set a stop loss, whether it's X% or in X dollar terms, set that and don't move that. I always tell people that when you make the emotions when you make money and versus the emotion when you lose money is very different. You know, we had that conversation. When you lose money, you feel very shitty, but when you lose money, you feel okay. Yeah. I not the feeling is just different. So I would like to prevent, I think, and you, Manoj, has always helped prevent financial disaster, because it's very, very hard and very, very difficult to climb out of a financial disaster. And we must do everything we can to not get into those. Yeah, that's my take.
So I think I'm just going into some of the notes, and if I have it, I'll just share some of the things here and the detailed work that is being done by yourself. So let me just share if I can bring this up. So this is our community portal, and of course we have the trades which are going on. We build the trades, and then conversations are going on. But I think what I want to highlight, for example, this is our VIS forum. VIS is for our value investing people. And here, if you look at, we have the challenges, and let's say I will just go to some of the challenge, maybe like let's talk about finding intrinsic value for Procter & Gamble. And you can see that it is to show you that actually he puts in effort, puts in work, go through and figure out whether those numbers are correct or not correct. Similarly, you will find other members who are working in, and this is what really the thinking and getting the end result, the whole process is all about. This is one. Let's go for another one. Similarly, if I go in and look at, maybe compare Warren Buffett's performance versus S&P 500, and you can see that when they put an effort, you discover things by doing things by yourself. It's very easy. I mean, you can go to an internet and you can find tons of websites which will tell you Warren Buffett's results versus S&P 500. There's just so many. But doing it by yourself, you will discover so many things, and that process becomes very, very important, and that translates to success. So this is again Yao Wen's research he did for S&P 500 versus Warren Buffett. So similarly, there are many other things that we do, and I wanted to not take more time, but this is to show you as a proof that success is not by chance. You know, it's a process that you have to develop and go through. So I got about the day as well. Now I would like to know a little bit about how do you manage your risk, Yao Wen?
I think at the beginning of the call, you mentioned rightfully the fourth point about capital allocation. That's absolutely critical. Do not over allocate. I committed that mistake, I admit, with Tesla, for having more than 50% of my capital invested in a single stock. That's too much risk. So since then, allocate a portion. And this is very individual again. So think of, really sit down, think through how much do you want to allocate to your long-term investing. And in long-term investing, what are the stocks? Do your valuation, have a watch list of stocks of maybe 10, 20 of them that you want to invest in. Again, each of them you have a size of allocation. It can be 5%, 10%, depending on every individual. Have that plan. Then from there, you know that per trade size, how much you should allocate, and you should never breach that. Is a hard rule that we follow. So at least if you lose that $1,000, it's not a disaster. Again, we don't want disasters. We want to invest safely. And
in fact, that reminds me, during the private coaching call, the very first coaching call, I remember when we had one-to-one, you didn't have any standard process to do all these things, right? And how it made all the difference. So for the benefit of the viewers, those who are watching, it's not like something that I want to keep a secret. I want to share with you as well, and hopefully you take an action. The whole process begins with what are your goals and how much are you planning to achieve in a year or two or five or so on. And in fact, in Option Pundit, we have a detailed process on how to even come up with that number and calculators how to come up with that. But you will figure out what sort of numbers you need and have a tracking in place. So I like to say what gets measured gets improved. So if you are measuring your success, if you're measuring your returns, if you're measuring your strategies, if you're measuring your time, it will improve with the passage of time if you're really committed and passionate about it. So based upon that goals, then you build your portfolio between your two buckets that we call your income buckets and your growth buckets. Income buckets is something that you don't want to touch, you don't want to mess up with, and you want to allocate a larger portfolio for income in safe and stable way of doing it. Now, when I say income, we are not talking about fixed deposit kind of thing. You're talking about strategies that bring you more money. For example, covered call will fall into the income bucket itself. Then we have what we call growth buckets, and the growth buckets will have again two parts of it. One is going to be on aggressive, and another one will be medium to less aggressive. Aggressive is intraday trading strategy is aggressive in our opinion in our Option Pundit school. Of course, you stack up your probability so that your risk to reward ratios are measured properly. Once you've done these things over a period of time, you will have your winning ratios, you will have your profitability ratios and the amount you win in, and then you start to build your system so you can allocate capital and you size it properly. That's how the entire money management and risk management portion comes in. You do that job properly, you start tracking that properly, you will see your results will definitely improve. You will see a dramatic difference coming in.
Yeah.
I wanted to explain the whole process. If you're interested, if you want to know more about, join any of the boot camps that we conduct. Some depending upon when you're watching this, the boot camp so far currently that we do is a 3 days boot camp, and it's absolutely free. So you learn the strategies, you learn how this is being done, and actually educate yourself much more.
Yep.
Now, that was the portfolio basis risk. On individual trade, do you use stops? Do you not use stops?
Yes.
How do you look at that?
So my usual practice is that once I enter into the trade, the first thing that I put is actually my stop. I watch that like a hawk, and I have a method to come to arrive at what's the stop loss. Again, it could be X% or a X dollar amount on every trade, and from there, as the market moves in my favor, and I thank Mr. Market for that, when he's kind enough, then I start to put in trailing stops. So I want to protect my profits as much as possible, and we know Mr. Market has can throw tantrums and U-turn anytime. So trailing stops, for some viewers who may not know, is that you as your market moves in your favor, the stops also move accordingly. So
In fact, I conducted a free training on that too.
trail loss.
Where I explain on how to do the bracket orders, how to do the stop orders, how to do the trailing stop orders.
Exactly.
I don't know if you have a recording. If you have a recording, we'll pull it out. But if you don't have it,
maybe.
Join any of the free sessions we conduct.
Free sessions, yes. Yeah. So, and a lot of times, my trail stops, market decide to U-turn and take out my trail stop. It doesn't go what I think doesn't matter, right? But I'm still happy with I kept my profits, and that's that. So I do stop loss, hard stops, trail stops, and of course in the event that it reaches what my desired level, think no further, just get out and
just got it.
Take profit. Yeah.
Your first loss is always the best loss, remember?
No, same for profit taking.
Profit taking,
if it reaches the level that you desired or set, just get out. Because and be happy with it. No more what if, I should have waited. And when you think like this, a profit could very well turn into a loss. That's correct. Especially
what has been your biggest mistake?
Over allocation, over trading.
Again goes back to the same point,
right?
We have reviewed this hundreds of times.
Yeah.
Always, it's the over allocation. Yeah,
Over
that's correct.
allocation when you become too confident. That's why I think one of you and I thank coach for constantly checking in on me on that, because once you have 5 or 6 successful trades, you think you are market wizard. And
That's
yeah,
correct.
we always had that conversation, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And that's where it's most important to check your emotions.
yeah.
Overconfidence is one thing that I am very conscious about. That's why I talk about it in the beginning that I've met my KPI, so-called KPI for the year, and I'm chilling a bit. You don't need to trade every day, and you should not trade every day.
Yeah.
And once you hit your KPI, just watch the market
For
go.
those who don't know, KPI stands for Key Performance
Yes, yes.
Indicator, and we built it as part of the private coachings,
Hmm.
where Yao Wen has developed his KPI metrics. He has shared with me on what are the things he measures, and he's looking at his P&L for the year, and so on. So he achieved this, and he decided that he's not going to trade. And
Yeah, as
right now, during
aggressively.
the yeah, it's December of 2022 when we are recording this, and he's chilling out right now,
Hmm.
not really trading so much. And it just so happened the market actually crashed, for
Yes,
the past 2 days.
yes,
So, which again gives you a reward for being patient and being,
yeah,
knowing your game very well.
yes, yes.
Well, thank you for sharing that as well, Yawen. Now, Yawen, there will be traders who are watching it. There may be new traders, advanced traders, intermediate traders. Let's bucket all the traders into two
Mm,
buckets.
mm,
One
mm,
is traders who are still trying to find success, is still trying to find consistency, and the other type of traders who are already successful,
mm,
who
mm.
are making some good money. What sort of suggestions or ideas you will have for both type of
I think
viewers?
I think regardless, there's always I personally feel that there's always something, whether you're a beginner or an advanced trader, there's always something that you can learn every day. For example, I mentioned about rewatching some of the library videos at least 5 times. People might think I'm crazy, but every time I watch, I get some new insights. So I'm not stopping at that. Some of them I may even rewatch it 6 times. Yeah, so get into. I think the top is probably in my thought process. Get into a good community and have a good coach. Yeah, yeah. I think enough is being said. You have a lot of testimony about Option Pundit, etc. So I shall not dwell too much into that. Yeah, I think it's a general. I feel I got to know you in 2017, reconnected back here. Is a lot of testimony about. Yeah, I've gone one round trying to find the holy grail,
Yeah,
and
and
I'm
then
still back.
finally settle
I'm
again
still
after
I'm
four
still
or
back
five.
here. I'm still back
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
So
Well,
enough
thank
said.
you.
Enough said. I think that's number one. Good community and coach. Where we really enjoy invest. Trading and investing can be very lonely, so you need a good community to keep you going.
Yeah.
That's how I personally feel. You're just facing the computer most of the time, right? So it's like, what
And
how interesting.
we are most prone to making that mistake when we are alone and we are
Yeah, alone.
overconfident and
Yeah,
we have achieved some success.
correct, correct. It's so
Yeah.
lonely. So secondly, I think it's about a process to discover yourself, what works well for you. Time and dozens of strategy. Everybody is selling. This work for them, that work for them. So you got to discover for yourself what really works for you. And I think all the successful traders that you have previously interviewed, including John, they just trade that 1-2 strategies that really work for them and make 5-6 figure out of it. So end of the day, when you reach the apex of it, it's really down to that 1 or 2
Yeah,
that works for you.
correct.
We had that conversation that some traders even trade zero DTE
Yeah.
condo
In
and
fact, currently in the community, our Condor community, this is going on
yeah,
at zero DTE, and
and
some are really killing it.
yes, yes, and I know you are not a big fan of zero DTE as well. So it works for them. We just applaud,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's good for them. Discover yourself. I think at the end, the third one, the final one is probably you find that something works for you, rinse and repeat, fine tune it, make it a habit,
Yeah.
and just keep doing, adjusting as the seasons change. Never just for okay, this worked so well for me. There will come a point of time it doesn't work. So then you got to adjust yourself. Yeah, and then
In fact, that is so true. Recently, as you know, that I've started the algorithm tradings too, and we have been building the systems, and we find that it is true. The volatility change, the market dynamics change, which
yes,
means that you have to figure out things that work or that doesn't work. You should also know when to stop something if it's been
yes,
working, but you should also know there's no point of just keep throwing money. If it's not working, then you go back to the drawing board and trying to figure out why it suddenly stopped. And you will find that over a period of time, you will develop mature strategies that you
yeah,
can
yeah.
count on and develop some good gains.
Mm.
Anything else, Yovan, that you would
No,
like
I
to share?
think
I think
that's
I'm really enjoying
absolutely,
this
yeah,
conversation.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's absolutely yeah, true what you have just shared. Yeah.
So I think this has been a fantastic conversation. I'm sure viewers also enjoyed this. We tried to bring as best and we could um, what we found in summary, or the way we look at it, is there are four key strategy that you have been using in your portfolios. Selling puts around value investing and doing that work, and only then doing it, selling puts on the stocks,
Mm.
and selling puts
Cost.
on indices for
Mm.
monthly income. We do
Yeah.
that as well as part of a established and systematic process. You have been also trading on intraday trading strategies, which works well, especially in the volatile markets, because
Mm.
you're not carrying over the position over the night. The
Yep.
next day it's a new day, and then you begin from that. So no gapping up or gapping down risk too.
Yep.
And one strategy that you followed, and that is the sole driver of all the success, is taking action. Because if you don't take action, then it doesn't work.
Yep.
So that shows up in the hard work you're putting in terms of completing your homeworks, your assignments, hard work in terms of being part of the community and writing every single day and getting
Mm.
connected with them. Also showing up in terms of actually doing the trades that has been taught, listening and tuning into the tutorials, and whenever you get a cup of coffee, rather than watching
Mm.
Netflix, I would rather
Yeah.
enjoy the tutorials. I remember what that's how you described it.
Mm.
So all that and a good discipline of doing all of this is what has been resulted into this
Yep.
success. It's not just one
Oh,
um,
it's a lot of
you
hard
know
work.
it's a lot of hard
Hard
work.
work.
And
Yeah.
I hope through this interview that also became very clear to all the viewers that you do need to put hard work, you need to put smart work as well, you need to systemize it. So I call it like 4S. One is that you need skills, you need systems and strategies, then you need support, and these are really absolutely critical. So skills you can find easily, it's not so difficult. You can join any of our programs if you're
Mm.
interested in and learn about value investing, or learn about options trading, learn about condors, learn about advanced option strategies. The skills are very easy to do it, but it's about finding those systems and support through the constant process of developing yourself as a good trader
Mm.
is what will ultimately lead to success.
Yep.
I hope you enjoyed this session as much as I did. And as we go through this interview and we read through it and we find golden nuggets from it, I'll see if I can add more downloadables for you, or attach worksheets, or link it back to some tutorials that you can watch and learn. Most of the things that we've covered, actually, we have gone through in detailed trainings,
Mm.
and a wide majority of those training have been free as well.
Yes.
So go ahead and watch, and we wish you that you have good time till we meet next. Anything else you want to share, Yawen, as your
No.
message to all
Okay.
the viewers?
I wish everyone please trade safely. Markets are volatile. And yeah, get yourself educated with yeah, good skills, good systems, and be prepared. We at the end of the day, I think we are still positive that at some point in time the market will turn around and the bull will return. So I think this is the best time to educate yourself and be prepared for that turnaround, which we foresee could be coming soon. Yeah,
Well, thank you so much, Yawen, and I wish you all the continuous
yeah, yeah.
success.
Thank you.
And I'm very proud of you. You are spreading the good message. You are helping those 5 kids with their lifetime education, and with
Thank
new
you.
profits, probably new kids coming on
Yeah,
board
yeah. I do.
as
I do.
well. And please keep doing that. We
Mm.
create like a happiness chain.
Yeah.
And we become like truly altruistic capitalist,
Yes.
right? Bringing the joy. And for those who are watching, I hope you enjoy this session. If you have any suggestions, ideas, if you have some other topics and things to discuss, we'll be more than happy to bring that on board. These are free flow sessions. And we want to bring as much education we can. Go back to optionpundit.com. You will see we have over 600-700 articles that you can browse through, learn, and there are lots of videos available as well on optionpundit.com. But all those are just the information, so as to speak, for you. In order to make and translate information to money, you will have to act on it and discover for yourself on what works and what doesn't work.
Yes.
So with all that, I'm your host, Manoj Kumar, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode of Market Wizard Interviews. Till then, I wish you all the very best, and be happy and happy trading.
Yeah. Thank you.
Nice meeting with you. See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.